figures, three different worlds, yet the same psychological question echoes behind each rise to power. What kind of personality drives a person toward domination? Their stories, rooted in obsession, fear, confidence, and control, can be understood only when seen through the full lens of personality science. This documentary explores Napoleon Bonaparte, Adolf Hitler, and Joseph Stalin, not only as figures of history, but as case studies in personality theory.
Hi there. My name is Zach, and I decided to do this study on Napoleon's personality because he was one of the most influential and fascinating, unique people of all time. I'd read some about him in a biography before starting this class, and I was really interested to learn more and do a deep dive on what specifically made him so unique. Born into an impoverished Corsican noble family, Napoleon developed an early ambition and distaste for French authority. Even as a child, he avoided play, preferring solitude and personal advancement. A school report described him as disagreeable and antisocial, traits that foreshadowed his low agreeableness. Through the psychoanalytic lens, Napoleon shows signs of anal retentive fixation, an obsession with order and control. His micromanagement shaped his military genius, but also blinded him. Even when the continental system created powerful enemies, he enforced it obsessively, unable to break the pattern. And defeat did not crack his denial. After the Battle of the Nations and even Waterloo, he claimed he could still gather forces, refusing peace and denying reality. Napoleon's life was shaped by operant conditioning. Early risky behaviors were rewarded, like the coup of 18 Brumaire or his daring Alpine crossing. Each success reinforced his belief that boldness always paid off. Risk became automatic, and eventually, the behaviors that made him rise became the ones that destroyed him. Napoleon was raised on the great man theory of history, a cognitive schema that taught him world-changing individuals succeed by sheer personal ability. His voracious reading reinforced a worldview of limitless self-efficacy. Victories seemed inevitable. Failures had to be blamed on external forces. This inflated belief system helped win Austerlitz and helped send him to Russia. Napoleon lived not for safety, belonging, or comfort, but for self-actualization. He regularly sacrificed food, clothing, and even love to pursue mastery and achievement. He risked his life leading charges and gave up his marriage for political alliances. For Napoleon, the top of Maslow's hierarchy was not a destination, it was an obsession.
Hi there, my name is Aiden Harmse, and the reason why I chose Hitler as one of the um, political leaders that we examined in our paper in this documentary is because Hitler was one of the more famous, but also when you think of a powerful dictator that kind of took over an area, you think of Hitler. So that's the reason why I chose Hitler as one of the personalities to examine and compare between Napoleon and Stalin.
Adolf Hitler's childhood was marked by instability, arrogance masking insecurity, and deep attachment to his mother. Her death triggered extreme emotional collapse, described as the worst mourning a doctor had ever seen in a son. These early experiences shaped his hypersensitivity, paranoia, and lifelong feelings of inferiority. From the psychoanalytic view, Hitler's unconscious conflicts surfaced as reaction formation. He masked weakness with grandiosity, rejection with rage, fear with extremist certainty. His preoccupied attachment to his mother created lasting abandonment fears that later fueled defensiveness, hostility, and aggression. According to Adler's theory, Hitler developed a powerful inferiority complex. As a child, he was arrogant yet academically unsuccessful. As a young man, failure as an artist left him in confusion. Erickson's identity versus role confusion. It was like the stage he stood on collapsed, pushing him toward extremist ideology to reclaim purpose. Hitler learned much of his behavior through modeling. His favorite teacher introduced him to heroic nationalist tales that emotionally moved him and became the template for his worldview. Hostility and aggression were reinforced throughout his environment. These learned behaviors became his personality. Hitler developed rigid cognitive schemas shaped by rejection, poverty, and loneliness. His worldview became absolute and self-justifying. Any threat or criticism activated hypersensitivity, paranoia, and the need for control. These inflexible thought patterns formed the backbone of his extremist ideology. Trait theory reveals the stable patterns beneath Hitler's behavior: high dominance, high hostility, high neuroticism, low agreeableness. These traits, combined with belief in heroic destiny, powered his aggression and shaped his leadership.
Hello everyone, my name is Griffin, and I chose Joseph Stalin just because I feel like he complements Hitler and Napoleon just in being a ruthless dictator and being a very interesting personality to study. Joseph Stalin's life can be summarized in a single idea: control. From seminary oppression to distrust of religious and political power, Stalin grew to retaliate against authority by seeking absolute control in every domain. Psychoanalytically, Stalin lacked typical conflict between the id and ego. He showed little remorse, his focus locked on power and dominance. He used transference, redirecting others' opinions about great leaders onto himself, and sublimation, channeling violent impulses into political control. Adler's neo-analytic lens explains Stalin's reactive behavior. He often retaliated against critics, a way to speak last to dominate opinion, classic signs of masculine protest and deep insecurity masked as superiority. Stalin inherited vigor and determination from his mother. Though not socially extroverted, he was highly active and athletic, and deeply persistent in his beliefs, traits rooted partly in biological temperament. Stalin's subconscious fears shaped warped cognitive perceptions. He distrusted authority, harbored hatred toward powerful figures, and transferred these emotions into political control. This mix of distortion and behavior shaped a leader obsessed with domination. Stalin's traits show extreme neuroticism, very low openness, and very low extroversion. Yet he possessed high self-efficacy, a belief in his power to achieve any goal. He was a maximizer, needing perfect control, never satisfied with good enough.
Napoleon, Hitler, and Stalin were separated by time, ideology, and method, but united by underlying psychological forces. High self-efficacy drove them. Abnormal personality traits shaped them, and each in different ways struggled with power, insecurity, and control. Through the lenses of psychoanalysis, behaviorism, cognition, biology, traits, and humanism, their stories offer a final reminder. even the most infamous men in history can be examined psychologically. And in doing so, we better understand not only them, but ourselves.